Đàn ông cứ nói thật là phải khỏe mạnh. Mặc dù tôi có tuổi nhưng tôi vẫn khỏe mạnh. Anh nào mà yếu về sinh lý ấy, thì đã mất nửa đời người khoái cảm rồi. Mà như thế thì còn gì nữa. Một đời người sống được bao nhiêu năm lắm mà yếu. Bởi vậy cho nên anh nào mà yếu về sinh lý thì hãy đến với tôi và hãy dùng sản phẩm chính của tôi, thì tất cả cái đó nó sẽ dịu xuống. Và dần dần, bởi vì cái sản phẩm của tôi là làm cho tâm này, can này, tỳ này, phế này, thận khỏe. Khi nó khỏe được như thế thì nó kéo cái sinh lý lên, thế nó mới bền chặt. Chứ tôi khuyên các bạn là đừng nên uống, cũng đừng nên dùng các cái sản phẩm mà nó mang tính chất kích dục. Thì đấy là rất hại cho các bạn.
Cái sản phẩm Chuẩn Xuân Vương này, từ khi tôi sử dụng thì tôi thấy sức khỏe rất tốt. Chung là ngủ tốt, mà về bên đề sinh lý cũng rất tốt. Thì so với cái sản phẩm khác thì tôi thấy nó tốt rất nhiều. Tốt hơn rất là nhiều.
Thì sau khi sử dụng cái sản phẩm Trường Xuân Vương này thì sức khỏe của tôi phục hồi rõ rệt. Trước nhất là cái việc là ăn ngon, ngủ yên và không còn mỏi gối, mỏi lưng. Nhất là sau lâm trận, ngày hôm sau rất là mỏi. Thì bây giờ cái cảm giác đó không còn nữa. Thì cái tinh thần tôi nó phấn chấn hơn. Tôi cảm thấy là khỏe mạnh rồi yêu đời hơn. Thì từ đó thì cái hạnh phúc của gia đình nó nồng ấm hơn.
Trước ông chưa uống cái thuốc này thì một đêm là ông phải đi tiểu tiện hơi nhiều lần. Nhưng từ ngày ông uống cái thuốc này thì là cái độ đi tiểu tiện nó ít đi và cái ngủ thì nó cũng không có đau lưng, không phải vặn vẹo gì người ngậm, không phải bẻ cổ chân cổ tay gì. Thế thỉnh thoảng có gặp bà tí là vui vẻ, cái là ngủ là một mạch cho đến sáng luôn.
Tôi trước cảm thấy nó đau hết cái người, đau lưng. Nhưng sau khi được giới thiệu, mà ông Trọng giới thiệu nói về cái sản phẩm Trường Xuân Vương này rất là tốt, thì tôi dùng khoảng được 2 tuần. Tôi thấy cảm thấy người nó khỏe khoắn ra. Và người nó coi như chủ yếu là trước kia là tôi dùng bia rượu nhiều nên là nó ảnh hưởng. Mà bởi khi tôi dùng được 1-2 tháng của thuốc này là nó khỏi, nó đỡ ra và coi như cảm thấy đi lại với vợ nó khoan khoái hơn.
Từ khi mà ông xã nhà tôi sử dụng cái sản phẩm Trường Xuân Vương này, ôi dồi ôi, lên vù vù, tôi thật sự choáng luôn, sợ thật.
Ông xã nhà tôi nhá, ngày xưa nhá, nói chuyện cả bà ấy, chưa đi ra chợ là đã hết tiền rồi. Đấy, thế nhưng mà bây giờ nha, một tuần được 2-3 lần, mà mỗi lần 15-20 phút.
Một ưu điểm ở cái sản phẩm này ấy, mà tôi tâm đắc nhất, đó là có thể kết hợp dùng cùng với cả các loại thuốc được. Bà biết không, trước kia ông xã nhà tôi á, còn bị tiểu đường này, huyết áp này, mỡ máu này, mà còn kết hợp dùng với cả Trường Xuân Vương này, vô tư, không vấn đề gì cả. Đấy, tôi nói thật sự, cho nên cái sản phẩm này rất là công dụng.
Sản phẩm Trường Xuân Vương hiện nay đang là sản phẩm bán chạy nhất tại nhà thuốc của chúng tôi. Sản phẩm phù hợp cho mọi đối tượng đang gặp vấn đề sinh lý, kể cả mới bị hay thâm niên. Lộ trình hiệu quả như sau: sử dụng Trường Xuân Vương 2 viên một ngày, giúp các quý ông tìm lại bản lĩnh trong cuộc yêu. Từ 10 đến 15 ngày, giảm hẳn tiểu đêm, đau lưng, ngủ sâu giấc hơn, thân thể cường tráng hơn, minh mẫn hơn. Và từ 15 đến 30 ngày thì sinh lý cải thiện rõ rệt, ham muốn nhiều hơn, thời gian quan hệ kéo dài tới 15 đến 20 phút, chồng sung vợ sướng, gia đình hạnh phúc sum vầy. Lưu ý, hiện nay trên thị trường có rất nhiều sản phẩm giả mạo Trường Xuân Vương. Vì vậy, các quý ông chú ý để tránh mua nhầm hàng giả. Trường Xuân Vương chính hãng chỉ có duy nhất một loại trên thị trường và được phân phối trên tất cả các nhà thuốc y dược Hà Nội. Đặc biệt là có dạng viên con nhộng và có khắc chữ Trường Xuân Vương trên nắp hộp, chính là điểm dễ dàng nhận biết và dễ dàng phân biệt nhất với các loại sản phẩm giả mạo. Hãy nhanh tay gọi điện tới hotline hoặc để lại thông tin để được chuyên gia tư vấn miễn phí, cụ thể, rõ ràng nhất về sản phẩm, tình trạng, liệu trình và nhận rất là nhiều ưu đãi khủng các anh nhé.
Cut y'all back on in a second. Alright, you two, I got everything outside, set up, ready to be sprayed. I'm about to hit everything with some prep balls and then spray it with this black paint. She still got some imperfections in them, but the product that I'm gonna use to finish it should fill all them imperfections up. So yeah, let me finish wiping these down and I'll cut y'all back on when I'm about to start spraying. Alright, YouTube, this right here is 2 coats of black primer. Two coats of the black primer. Now I'm about to tack everything off. They got dusty from all cleaning out their balcony. I'm gonna tack everything off. I'm gonna hit it with another coat of the black primer. Alright, YouTube, this how I look after 3 coats of the black primer. Now I'm about to hit it with this satin black interior paint from Sim. A lot of people be calling it dye. It clearly says on the back, color coat is not dye. It don't matter. I got something that's going on top of them anyway, but I'm about to slap y'all back on the time lapse and go ahead and knock it out. Well, that might not be able to work on this can. She don't want to clamp right. Okay, there she go.
this is a good one where you've got to be careful. So we've got the data sheet, but when we read here again, and what I've already showed you is the flash off time's only 3 to 5 minutes. If you're using as a wet on wet paint system, which is what we're doing, we've got to allow 30 minutes air dry at 25 before top coating. So I'm going to use base coat now, which is a top coat. So now I need to wait 30 minutes before I can now apply that base coat over the top of the epoxy. Righto, so more data sheets. So the base coat is, you can mix that two ways. You can mix it just as a normal base coat, which is half thinner, half paint. But you can also, as a standard, but you can also activate. So you can actually add a hardener to it. Now, we did that a bit with some of the work we did on Boss XC. Helps with adhesion a little bit. Just doing brackets and things like I'm doing now, I'll just use the normal standard mix, but you can activate it so that it will go off. But if you've got any paint left over, then it's obviously going to dry and be finished with. Once again, it gives you all the information you need. And when we look down here to overcoat time, we're looking at 15 minutes before we can go to clear coat. So we've got a 5 to 10 minute flash off and then 15 minutes before clear coat. And I think this just highlights that if you've got one bracket to do and you're going to do 2 coats of epoxy, 2 coats of colour, black on black you probably only need 1, and then 2 coats of clear, all those wait times, you've probably got about 2.5 hours. So if you take a part to your panel beater and ask him to paint one part, understand why the guy is going to frown on you, because it's going to take him 2 to 3 hours of process, and it's hard to walk away and go and do something else. So ideally you try and fill the booth up and do it all at the same time. Now the reason I'm using a clear coat is this particular product. So there's a semi-gloss and a matte in the Deltron obviously, and it's D81151117. This product was developed for all of these matte cars that have come out. When you look at the sheet here, it'll actually show you Lamborghini, Mercedes, Smart, BMW. So all these cars that are coming out from the factory with a full body matte finish, that product's got to be very durable and it's got to obviously match what the factory had done. So this is PPG's product, and by mixing 50-50 of these two, you end up with that factory look. I like that look for things like what I'm doing now, suspension and brackets, but I also find probably within a week of it being painted, it goes very, very hard and is very durable for using on parts like I'm doing now. So that's why I'm using a clear coat. And it's probably a little bit more expensive than if you're just going to go and do a direct gloss with a bit of mattening base, but this will give you a better job. There you go, so that's a really nice durable finish, and a nice satin appearance. Really does come up nice.
Surface piece, but these came out better than I expected, especially this one. I like that one. Yeah, I can tell I used some of the paint that I painted Summer Rain with. Put that in the epoxy. I had tried to put a little bit of the glow in the dark effect, but last night I really couldn't tell if it was working, so. But I might end the video off right here. Go ahead and upload it, let y'all check that thing out. yeah, that came out decent. Well, I like that. The other side flowing too. Yes, sir. You see how it still got the drips down there? They ain't all the way hard. It's gonna get rock hard. The epoxy resin get rock hard. Solid. But I just went on ahead and unmasked everything. So when these pieces do get rock hard, I can go through, sand them all down smooth, get everything feather edge smooth, and then I paint in here. All the parts where the paint peeled up when I was peeling the epoxy off and the tape, I paint in there. But man, these came out nice as hell. And it was fun to do. Like I said, man, Stone Cold countertop epoxy, them videos be popping up on YouTube all the time. So I always wanted to use this shit. And this shit is fun, came out good. I just need a better setup. It's too fucking compact up here on my balcony. That's why your boy been working hard, yo. I'm telling you. House coming soon, garage coming soon. That way I'll be able to drop this content at least 2-3 videos a week, dog. I'm telling you. I just ain't got the space to do it at the crib. And Summer Rain all the way across town at my uncle's house. Summer Rain is definitely a show car. A lot of this stuff I wouldn't do to other cars, but just because that's my baby, she a show car, man, I'm making her look awesome, and this is cool as hell. So the wood grain gotta go. All the little wood grain that's on the dashboard and on the doors, I got something for that too. So there ain't gonna be no wood grain in her. Gots to go. I know that light. Y'all don't say nothing about my drips now. She ain't finalized. But I'm gonna have to let her sit for about another day or so. They dry enough for me to take in the house. I'm gonna take them in the crib. We'll find a corner in here, let them sit for a day, let them get nice and warm, heat it up. And then I'll do the top coat. I have them ready by the next video when I be back over there at Aunt's house getting busy. I got a lot to do. I got the Dakota Digital. I got all my music. Only thing I got all my music other than the 415s. I still got to order the subs. But I got all the amps. I got the batteries. Got all the wires. The head unit. It's go time. And I'm still waiting on the rotating assembly from Texas Speed. I think I'm gonna call their ass today. Today makes 6 weeks. I was gonna wait till at least 8, but hell, I might give them a holler today. See what they got going on. But that dash, hell, man. I gotta get it. I need better setup, better lighting, man. Look at this shit, it's hard. Wait till I sand them all down smooth. Hit them with that top coat. Pretty decent. I just hit a few spots that I noticed was real noticeable on these. It was decent. Did good on them. The buddy right here had a lot of pinholes in it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let these sit up here for about a good hour and some change and dry. I got some parts out there in that charger that I need. Matter of fact, we just gonna jump out there and I'll show y'all what I'm taking out the charger. Alright, so boom. This what I'm at with. I'm taking this amp and that battery out of this car and I'm putting it in a box. Now the reason why I'm gonna be stripping the sound system out of this is because the charger is down, dog. The charger is down and she gonna be getting a full makeover. Everything getting redone on the charger. Everything. I already got the interior for it. I just gotta get to it, but she getting a redo. Nothing wrong with the charger mechanically. Motherfucker run and drive perfect. It's just that this fucking sunroof leaks, yo. or it's water getting in here somehow. I don't know where the water getting in from, but it's water getting in here somehow. That's the main reason why I'm redoing the interior. Cause the water get in here, then the shit'll be sitting and it just getting molded. So all this shit coming out. I think I'm gonna put a panoramic roof on here. I know a lot of people been hitting me up about the G6 roof that I got. I think I'm gonna put the G6 roof up here. That's why I ain't been replying. But yeah, I'm gonna put the G6 roof in here. I got the interior out of a 2019 Dodge Charger that's going in here. The Charger getting the remix, man. So yeah, I'm gonna be snatching all this stuff out of here. I'm gonna use, I got one battery just like this over there in the box already. So I'm gonna have 2 of these batteries in the box. I'm gonna have 2 of these amps. And she gonna be pushing 415s. But all the music stuff that's in here, I'm taking out. I'm gonna start with this amp because I'm gonna need this amp for when I make my amp rack for the Caprice. This amp and that battery gonna be the first things I take. Them speakers, I'm not gonna use them speakers. I'm gonna leave them speakers in here. But I'm gonna take the battery and the amp. Let me go and snatch this amp out of here, because that's what I came for. Because the next time I go to Aunt crib, I'm gonna be making the amp rack. This Charger 2006, she almost an old school. Hell, in 3 years, she'll be 20 years old. She almost an old school. God damn. Keeping my baby. Just gonna remix and make her look pretty again. That's all it is to it. But yeah, like I was saying, both of these will be going in the box. Yes, sir. I gotta find that other piece that go over here. It gotta be up under that damn speaker box. I do that. I just need this for mock-up. Both of them. Well, I can go ahead and put her where the hell she gonna go. And I need this for when I make the amp rack. So let's go on up here and check on these pieces, see if they dry enough to be sanded. I might have to let them sit for another 30 minutes or so. Cut y'all back on in a second. All right, YouTube, so these spots don't dry it up. I'm about to start knocking them down, getting them smooth, so I can go ahead and hit them with the top coat. Put y'all back on the time lapse, knock this out, and I'll cut y'all back on when I'm about to start spraying. Alright, YouTube, I got them all knocked down smooth. Now I'm about to take them out there. that matte finish. Oh man. Throw the bezels in there, speakers in there. The top part, all right, so the top part's on. All right, so Steve Davis, he sell the ones, I think he make them out of wood, and they got the light in them. Woo, I got to have some. Got to have some. Yes, sir. Because another reason why I want them, for the back, I'm gonna see if he can make it the way I can put my window switch right here, because that's how it is on the front ones. The window switch is up here, and then these switches right here, well, the lock switch is up here, and the window switches and stuff is right there. But yeah, I'm gonna see if he can put my window switch in that thing. But yeah, man, tell me what y'all think about them, man. I try not to do too much color. I got carried away with that green over here. It's called like a blue-green. I ain't want to go too many colors. So I just threw that green in there with that blue, that black, and that silver. Yeah. I think she hit with some rain though. I'm about to go ahead and upload this video. It's supposed to upload over the weekend. Today, Monday. So I'm gonna go ahead and finalize it and drop it. I know y'all be on my ass about these videos, but your boy be working, dog. When it's time to make some money, I gotta go get that money. I be doing this shit for fun, and most of the time this shit costs money. But yeah, I got to have me a house, dog. Alright. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think, dog. Let me know. And I'm gonna get back with y'all on the next video.
Well, I think this would be a first. So we've got 2 cars in the workshop on rotisseries at the same time, because I normally only do 1 car at a time and I only have the 1 rotisserie, but Adam and Kylie have the same one. So they've brought theirs down with all their bracketry that they made to put the car on it. And the reason I'm doing that now is I need to get the chassis painted. So that's over here. So it's in bare metal. So I need to really get that sealed up. So we're gonna pull the front off it, and I'll get that into CF black epoxy, and because it's got to go back over once we get the underside done. So what you've seen us do inside the car, we're now going to do underneath, and then we'll seal that up with urethane before it goes into stone guard. So I'll get some of that done this week with Steve, and I've taken the opportunity this week. Darren's here this week for a couple of days, so I've taken the opportunity to get the outside finished, a lot of the little bits and pieces in around the door jambs, and now we'll get it up on its side and get underneath done, and then it goes into poly before it goes back together to get blocked out again. So along with all that underside of the car, what we're in the process of doing is cleaning up all of the suspension components. So things like this that are bare metal. So we'll give that a good clean up first to make sure we get all the greases and oils off it, because you can actually feel it's like quite greasy. And then once again we'll go CF black, and then I'll put some base coat and then some matte or satin clear. So we'll show you that process as well. Righto, so I said I'd show you the process. So these are all those parts. So some had paint on them that sanded up really good, and others, and this one here was the same. So it's even almost like an E-coat, so I've just sanded those, and then the others are all bare metal that we've either taken the paint off them or they were just cast. Now, I'm going to repeat myself over and over and over on this show, but not everybody watches every episode. Cleanliness. So prep sole. They've been done already. I'm ready to paint now, so I'm going to go over and wipe them all again, and then I'm going to go over with a tack rag or a tack cloth. This is the Mercer brand one. I never realised just how big an influence these can have on the quality of your work. So you go over and blow them off with air and then paint them, so I'm going to wet on wet this through 3 stages. Any little tiny bit of dust is going to build up and get worse. So I'll run over with compressed air and a tack rag and wipe all of those parts down. and then I'll start with the products. So I'm going to use the CF black epoxy, then we'll go base coat, and then we'll go with the satin clear.
Body filler on. So these are a bit stickier and chewier. What we want is something that's harder and we can sand, so we use the isocyanate-based hardener. So DP616.
Righto, so that solves that. So CF is great, and I just did a whole lot of brackets and things for the muscle car yesterday actually. And I like that because I can then put base coat and then use the satin clear. Gives me a nice hard surface. I don't plan on rubbing it at all. It's like bang, bang, bang and the job's done. When we go then into epoxy urethane primer, and obviously DP616 is what we're using on this car, and I've been using it forever and I love the product. I'm not going to go into that now. But there are other epoxies. So there's the 2K, which is the Epotec.
Epotec, from our Protec range,
Now, it's a different product again to the DP616. Explain us a little bit about what
the Epotec's a great product. Again, been around for a long time, but it goes rock hard. It's fantastic. If you want to paint on an undercarriage or internal areas or just paint something that you don't want to coat, the Epotec's great. You can use that, but when you try and sand it, it's quite hard.
So is there a timeline with that? Does it go hard straight away? Or if I know a lot of people use it on the outside. A lot of sandblasters use it. It's very cost effective. They'll put it on the outside. If you've got that on, if you use it on the outside of a car, of a build, is there a timeline where it's not too bad to sand and then it goes hard, or is it pretty much hard?
Once it cures, it's hard. It goes rock hard. And the other thing with something like that epoxy is you can't use it wet on wet with a spray polyester. So here's where DP616 comes in. We can put body filler, hand applied over it. We can use it wet on wet with spray polyester, with primer, so it's a bit more universal. Whereas something like Epotec is not as universal. And then an etch primer is basically only has one function, to stick to the metal.
So I like the 616 primarily because I can put it on. If I want to do a little bit of welding on the edges, it doesn't fry up. It just changes to a red colour and it's really functional that way. But it doesn't, I'm not looking for a massive amount of build film out of the epoxy, which I've spoken to other custom guys and they like the Epotec because it gives them some build. Should they be using it to get build, or is that just the nature of the product?
It depends what you want the build for. If you just want to paint it and leave it, the build's good. But if you're ready to prime the job or spray poly it, you can put a coat of the 616 on in 20 minutes. You can have a good look at it and say, am I ready to prime it? Have I missed something? Did I miss a ripple? Did I miss some deep scratches? You can give it a quick sand. So you've still got that option. Once you put an amine epoxy on or the Epotec type epoxy, then it's wet for a long time. You've got to wait for it to completely chemically dry, and then you've got to sand it and start again.
Okay, so just to sort of recap, because this gets a little bit confusing. So we've got the acid etch for the hard stuff, and we go to an epoxy, and we've got a couple of different products there, or 3 different products, the CF for the brackets and the industrial chassis, those sorts of things. When we then go to that next stage, I like to use the epoxy almost like a trace coat. So I'll do the 616, then I'll do my filler, then I'll do epoxy again. And I use normally a 1.4, where I know it probably should be a 1.8, because I'm just looking to get a nice coat on there to seal it off. And if I'm happy, I'm ready to go. And I'm not looking to get a whole lot of build film out of the epoxy, because I'm either going to prime it with a high build primer, or if I think I need to, depending on the job, I'm going to go with a poly. And a poly, guys, is basically filler in the gun, isn't it?
Absolutely. Liquid body filler.
Liquid body filler. So
substrates, surfaces. So
like a galvan, so like a fuel tank.
Fuel tank, right? If you're doing an old Bentley or an old relic that's made from complete aluminium surface, you would put an acid etch because you would get better adhesion to that particular substrate. People want to paint engines and brake components and all different types of.
So if you use an acid etch, what then goes over that? Because being an acid, obviously there's limitations in what can go over.
An acid etch you would use and then prime over it. But if you want to use body filler, you wouldn't mix it with acid etch primers. They're not very compatible. The actual.
So if I've got an old fuel tank and it's galvo, and I acid etch it, and I want to put some filler in it, what do I do then? Epoxy over the acid etch?
Epoxy over the acid etch.
Okay.
So it would be a two-step process. And then you would be safe.
Okay, and obviously we can go and read the data sheets about when and how long.
So if you're using an acid etch or an epoxy, basically you want it to stick to the surface. So an acid etch is good because if the surface is 95% clean, it'll work its way through and stick. Epoxy is like a really good clean surface to stick to.
And
but they both
you
do the same
explained to
thing.
me before, epoxy is more like a glue.
Yes.
Than something that's biting in.
That's right. So it sticks to the surface, it bonds chemically versus an acid etch.
Okay, so epoxy now is the word we see a lot of.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, just if we can try and, shorten it, but like an acid etch.
Yeah.
Explain to me an acid etch.
So
just explain to these guys.
So there's a little bit of misunderstanding as well in terminology. So people go, you didn't use an etch. So an etch, people are saying something that will stick to the metal. Okay, so an acid etch primer is designed especially for aluminium and hard to stick to substrates, surfaces. So
like a galvan, so like a fuel tank.
Fuel tank, right? If you're doing an old Bentley or an old relic that's made from complete aluminium surface, you would put an acid etch because you would get better adhesion to that particular substrate. People want to paint engines and brake components and all different types of.
So if you use an acid etch, what then goes over that? Because being an acid, obviously there's limitations in what can go over.
An acid etch you would use and then prime over it. But if you want to use body filler, you wouldn't mix it with acid etch primers. They're not very compatible. The actual.
So if I've got an old fuel tank and it's galvo, and I acid etch it, and I want to put some filler in it, what do I do then? Epoxy over the acid etch?
Epoxy over the acid etch.
Okay.
So it would be a two-step process. And then you would be safe.
Okay, and obviously we can go and read the data sheets about when and how long.
So if you're using an acid etch or an epoxy, basically you want it to stick to the surface. So an acid etch is good because if the surface is 95% clean, it'll work its way through and stick. Epoxy is like a really good clean surface to stick to.
And
but they both do the same
explained to me
thing.
before, epoxy is more like a glue.
Yes.
Than something that's biting in.
That's right. So it sticks to the surface, it bonds chemically versus an acid etch.
Okay, so epoxy now is the word we see a lot of.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes part of a bigger name, and sometimes it's just epoxy.
Yeah.
So I know with the products I've been or have used, so there's the CF Black I use a lot of if I'm doing brackets and things, which comes out of the industrial, so trailers and truck chassis and those sorts of things. So what's the structure of that?
So there's two types of epoxies. There's an amine, which is like araldite glue, and then there's the one that we use in the custom world, which has an isocyanate hardener. So just quickly, CF is chromate free. Chromates were banned. So you have to have a chromate free product, and that's what the CF stands for.
Okay.
Nothing more.
There you go, I learn something every day.
So something easy, right? So if you have an amine cured epoxy like an araldite, you can put a coat down and you can paint over it. So in the truck world, they use these type of epoxies to put colour over the epoxy. With our world, we want to put
Alright, YouTube, this how everything look after one coat of that sim or satin black. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit it with another coat, and once everything dry, I'm gonna take it back up there on the balcony, and I'll cut y'all on when it's time to go to the next step. Alright, YouTube, I got these things upstairs, back on the balcony, and I got them prepped for what I'm about to finish them with. So what I got right here is some epoxy, stone coat countertops epoxy. I be on YouTube, yo, they make the craziest things look like marble, bro. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to make my dash and my door panels look like marble. About to try to anyway. Got my cups and everything set up. Got some different colors. Different colors. You know, I want the marble to look like. I'm about to get busy. I even got some of the paint that I use to paint the Chevy. Got some of that too. I'm gonna put some of that with the epoxy. Oh, motherfucker. Get the silver. And I'm gonna get this glow effect. Alright, I use this. I'm about to start pouring. Stone coat countertops. That was a lot. YouTube. I don't got everything unmasked. This came out nice. Boy, y'all know I like trying stuff. Y'all know I like trying stuff. And this came out nice. Look like an exotic piece of damn marble. That thing gonna be killer on the dashboard. Yes, sir. The door panels, the speaker pods. Now they all shiny now, but I got a top coat that I gotta put on them, which is a matte finish, so it won't be shiny. You'll still be able to see all the metallics and all the designs, but it's gonna have a matte finish. I gotta let it dry a little bit more, get harder. But yeah, once it get harder, I gotta go around, feather edge some of these parts, clean up in there where the little door bezels go. But man, tell me that ain't cool. Stone coat countertop epoxy. Yes, sir. I'm gonna go in there and paint all these little spots where the epoxy stuck to it and rip the paint up. Paint all this back black. Even though the speaker had most of it covered, I just wanted it to look uniform. I messed these speaker grills up, and then I had broke this one. So I think what I'm gonna do, I might try to cut these out and make one of the metal pieces. Put the metal speaker mesh in them, but I'm gonna paint it black. I think that's the move. See how they jump flow over the side? It's wicked. That's what I was saying about all the imperfections that it had. Like this filled all the way up. I knew it was gonna come out good on this piece because this is like the flat.
taken the opportunity to come up to PPG this morning up here at the training centre and have a talk to John. Morning, John.
Morning.
So we spent about an hour in the traffic this morning, which was fun. You love Sydney, don't you?
Yeah, it was great.
But I mean, that's part of what happened. So the reason I wanted to come up here is there's this whole myth about the products that we all use in the industry. And I really want to have a chat to you about, we're at that stage now where we're doing epoxies and sealing all these different substrates, as you guys call them, which is, the steel and the aluminium and all those things. And I've always found it interesting, and I hear a lot of debate about the fact that there's so many different products.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get a bit of feedback from you. And the reason I'm talking to John is John and I have worked together for 25, 30 years on various projects, and John's been at PPG that long. But he's also a qualified spray painter.
Yeah.
And then worked in the training part of PPG and then product development, and of course now in sales. So he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of background and seen a lot of these products evolve over the years. And the thing I'd like to talk to you about, John, is right from the start where we go acid etchers, epoxy primers, CF primers, high build primers, there's all these different things. So if we can initially to talk about mild steel firstly, and that process of those different primers that you have, and why we're using them.
Yeah, look, I think where I'm fortunate is I get to see the product in development phase and understand why is it we need to bring out a new epoxy or an etch primer. And a lot of it's based on either a customer requirement, customer request, substrate request. Substrates keep changing.
And if I can cut you off for a second, when you're talking customer, you're talking Ford or GM or someone.
Customer is Ford, it's Howard Astle, it's the guy in the panel shop, it's the guy.
Obviously, you're not going to create a product just for me, but realistically,
for the Howard Astles,
types.
That's right. Okay. Who are out there, building cars and recreating cars and restoring cars. So, if you look at a car that's being restored, you might have bare steel, you might have galvanised steel, aluminium, fiberglass. So it's difficult to say, look, just use that one product, and that's all you'll have to use, because, you'll say, look, John, I'm doing a car inside, I just want to put an epoxy on that's shiny and not have to touch it. So, okay, I can't give you this one, but I can give you this one.
Yep.
Because this will do what you require. So it's about making sure we've got a product that will cater to what the people that are restoring the cars, repairing the cars, rebuilding the cars, what is it they need.
Or building a truck, because this is where a lot of the products come from. So just if we can try and shorten it, but like an acid etch.
Yeah.
Explain to me an acid etch.
So
just explain to these guys.
So there's a little bit of misunderstanding as well in terminology. So people go, you didn't use an etch. So an etch, people are saying something that will stick to the metal. Okay, so an acid etch primer is designed especially for aluminium and hard to stick to